existing already, right? What just happened is iPhone came, they created a device that has a camera now, right? That has the power of a computer. It's still a mobile phone and has an operating system which we now call the iOS. So basically, that's just a convergence of different technologies that brought about the iPhone. So that's the same way you guys should view the metaverse, right? In similar fashion, the metaverse is the convergence of several developments, right? And this developments can be categorized into three things, right? The metaverse lies at the intersection of three technologies. One is the M world, right? The second is augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality, which is what we call AR, VR, and MR, and also Web3 or virtual assets, right? These are basically the three technologies that came together to create what we now call the metaverse, right? And just to put into context, because I don't want to waste too much of our time, M words are immersive applications, right? Just to explain what this things mean. M words are immersive applications in virtual environments. They are usually able to run on mobile phones, tablets, your PC browsers, your AR, VR instances like the Oculus, uh, and many awards began as gaming applications. I think this will probably interest you guys as well, right? So, uh, your games like Call of Duty, right? Games like Fortnite, which is one of the most popular games in the world at the moment. For example, right? So, if you're even looking at Fortnite in 2017 was just a shooting game, right? And it progressed, right? Advancements in gaming basically made it possible for them to now start having virtual concerts, right? They brought what's the name of this guy? I keep forgetting. One US rapper to the platform to have a party. And then it became a concert where they're constantly having virtual concerts in Fortnite, right? They also started map creation tools to be able to map the environments that the game is also being played in as well. So basically, an advancement of gaming has contributed immensely to what the metaverse has become, or what we're defining the metaverse to be these days, right? Also, we have augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality. Um, Not a lot of time to break these things down, but basically a combination of the three of them is what we call extended reality, right? So there's the augmented reality, the virtual reality, and the mixed reality. A combination of all this as a collective is called extended reality. But I don't have the time for us to be breaking these parts down because this presentation will take a lot of time, which is why I was saying a bit of technicalities might come in once in a while, which you guys might then have to go check out yourselves. But basically is the excess that you wear and the virtual environments that you create, right? So, for instance, the games that you play, right? The video games you play, the Call of Duties that you play are virtual worlds, right? They are virtual realities. They don't really exist in the real world. Now, the augmented reality basically works alongside what you do in the real world, right? So you'll be able to project an item, like an hologram, for instance, would be an example of augmented reality. You'll be able to use your phone, right? For instance, to take measurements of objects. I think iPhone has that functionality where you can use download an app where you can use to measure things in real life, and it tells you accurately what's the length or breadth of that item is. That's an example of augmented reality. But basically, advancements in this technology, right, and us being able to shift from 2D to 3D imaging with augmented reality and extra as a whole, right? The experiences there also significantly contributed to what we now as the metaverse, right? And then we have the third technology that joins the intersection, which is Web3 and virtual assets, which is probably one of the most popular conversations people also have in the world right now. Everyone has heard about cryptocurrencies, everyone has heard about blockchain, right? So Web3 is an iteration and an advancement in, if there's a Web3, I mean, there's Web1 and Web2, right? So Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and now we're currently in an age for Web 3.0. And pretty much just to put into context, right? Web 1.0 is an internet where we were only just consumers, right? Read-only internet. So imagine a world where most of the websites that you see on the internet are like Wikipedia, right? Where you only consume content, you can't basically comment, you can't do much with it. They are static websites, right? And then that's what defines the era of Web 1.0. Now we move to the era of Web 2.0, where platforms and digital platforms now allow users to be able to both create and consume content. So that's where the social media network come in, right? Everyone that uses Instagram is a content creator because Instagram by itself doesn't have any content. We are the ones that put content on there, right? And we are also the ones that consume that content. So Web 2.0 is basically an internet where people who use it are also people who create content on it. There's more engagement, right? And now that we're moving towards Web 3.0, it's basically around immersive technologies and not just being able to consume or create and own your content, but you can now not just you can't just consume and create now, but you own the content, right? Because what 2.0 is where we've had discussions about you don't really own the content. The big tech companies are the ones making all the money from the content that you're creating. Content creators are only getting a little percentage of that, etc., etc. Now, because there's a decentralized internet that Web3 brings along with it, that also means that blockchain technology is replacing the centralized intermediaries where Instagram controls all the server and all the content on there, and they can kick you out whenever they want. Same goes for Facebook and every other platform, right? So Web3 is basically replacing that and giving power back to the consumers and the content creators themselves, which enables both consumption and exchange, right? Because you own most of the content that you create. So that's basically a combination of these three technologies in terms of decentralization of the internet, extended reality, and also advancements in M worlds, which would mean meta world as well, is what converts together to create what we now call the metaverse. And the M world is, we have examples of that around us, right? We have Sandbox, for instance, which is one of the biggest metaverse projects out there. It's also blockchain based, right? NFT based, user created 3D worlds, feature decentralized autonomous organization, which is what I mean by DAO there. We've got VR chats, which is a VR immersive social network where it actually feels like you're having a conversation with someone else on the social media network. We've got Roblox, which is a user-generated games in 3D virtual world where people actually have the ability to create their own games and play them as well. We've got Zepito, which is a virtual social avatar where you can create avatars of yourself. We've got Fortnite as well, which is one of the most popular ones, which is a shooting game in 3D with content creation to go along with it as well. So these are all examples of open worlds and advancements in all these games, advancements in technologies that is being used to create these games has significantly scaled up and allowed for us to start having conversations around the metaverse today. And the question, or one of the things I also like to you guys to know about is the collective attributes, right? Not all digital or not all virtual games are metaverses, right? So what does a digital or what does a virtual environment need to, what are the qualities the virtual environments need to possess before they qualify to be called a metaverse or a virtual world, so to speak, right? So one is persistency, right? And persistency just means that it's continuous, it's non-pausing, it's non-resetting, and it's always accessible. So think of it like if you guys are familiar with your mobile games like PUBG, for instance, right? If you're playing your PUBG, you can't pause the game, right? You're just playing because you're playing with other people who are also constantly and currently playing that game. So you have no control on pressing. It's a world that is easily accessible to everybody. It keeps on running, it never stops, right? And that also translates into synchronous and live. It's consistent, it's real time. If you are spending 2 hours in the virtual world, that's equates to 2 hours in real life. Or like say an example you guys will be familiar with is your GTA, right? So 24 hours in your GTA game, for instance, it's not the same thing as 24 hours in real life. So a GTA game would not necessarily qualify as that. But if you're playing PUBG, for instance, which is maybe still quite common with you guys, is if you play your PUBG for 5 hours, that's actual real 5 hours in real life. Just to give you a context to that as well. So uh, that means that it's constant, it's real-time living experience for all the users, right? With seamless interoperability. That's what it means as a synchronous and live feature. It's also concurrent, meaning that multiple individuals, multiple businesses, multiple objects are operating simultaneously and in parallel, right? Uh, no one is waiting for anybody. It's not like, for instance, your FIFA where two players can play at once and everybody else has to wait, right? So imagine just what you guys are familiar with, right? So I'm trying to use gaming environment or games you guys are familiar with. PUBG would also be a good example of this. You're playing with multiple people. You have your team, right, from different parts of the world, some Koreans, some Indians, basically everyone from anywhere can join the game and play, right, once it starts. And that means that multiple individuals start the game. There's no restrictions. Anyone can join the game and be a part of it at the same time, right? A billion people will be playing PUBG at the same time, live, without any interference with any other person's game, right? It's also immersive because it's highly involved. It's an interactive experience. It's spanning both the physical and digital worlds, right? You have some virtual games that are like boxing, where you're punching things virtually, but it feels like you're punching someone. You're punching virtually or physically, but it feels like you're actually punching someone in the real world, punching someone virtually as well. So that's one of the features or attributes that makes for what we now call the metaverse, or attributes that the metaverse needs to have technically before they could be called before they can be called the metaverse. And another major feature is a functioning economy, right? Participants can create, they can own, they can buy, they can sell either physical or digital assets in there, right? Just using your PUBG as an example again, just so everyone understands this. You buy kits, you buy clothes, you buy shoes, you buy weapons, you buy a lot of things to protect yourself. That's what I mean by functioning economy, where participants can buy, they can create, and even in more advanced virtual games or virtual environments like sandbox, they allow you to even import and bring in your own digital assets as well, which comes to the part of creating and also selling things on there. So multiple contributors as well, independents, commercially and non-commercially focused contributors that are looking to create spaces, create experiences. All these attributes basically, at least most of these attributes really needs to be present before you can categorize a virtual world as a metaverse, right? And the question then comes to, how do NFTs come into the mix, right? Like I said, it's a conversation about metaverse and the NFTs. It goes in the context of what a metaverse looks like, right? So how do NFTs come into the mix? NFTs came into the metaverse discussion to fulfill the attributes of a functioning economy. Remember in the last slide, the second to the last point that I raised is participants being able to create, own, buy, and sell physical and digital assets and services, right? So fulfilling these attributes gave birth to the NFTs coming into the metaverse conversation, right? And just so you guys know, not all metaverse projects are Web3 based projects, just so we are clear, right? Not all metaverse projects are on the blockchain. In fact, the blockchain is not a criteria for a metaverse to be developed. And an example of that is Horizon by Facebook. Facebook's metaverse, Horizon, is not a blockchain based project. It's not a Web3 project. There's no cryptocurrency involved. There's no NFT involved, right? It's just a virtual world or a metaverse that you can do basically everything that you do on a blockchain-based metaverse. The difference is Facebook's metaverse will be centralized, right? And a metaverse like Decentraland or Sandbox, for example, would not be centralized because it's based on the blockchain, which means decentralized networks, right? So just to get clarity on that, right? So NFTs came into the metaverse discussion to fulfill the attribute of a functioning economy, right? Blockchain projects started creating their own virtual worlds. And because they are blockchain projects, it's only natural for them to want to create a decentralized way of owning assets, right, in that world because they are blockchain projects. And the only way a blockchain project would effectively create a world that is blockchain based is to decentralize it. And for that economy to thrive, right, for you to own buildings, for you to buy, purchase items, for you to import items into that virtual world, they need to be tokenized, right? They need to be put on the blockchain. And that's how NFTs came into the entire conversations about metaverses. So the question now is, what are NFTs, right? NFTs stands for non-fungible tokens, right? But to get this clear, let's start by understanding two principal notions, right? Non-fungible tokens. So for something to be non-fungible, right? That means that there's something that is fungible as well, right? Just by logic. If there's a non-fungible thing, then it means there's something else that is fungible, right? So fungibility means that the individual unit of an asset, right? Assets, digital assets, but just to put out in the context, right? To explain it and make it easier for you guys to understand. It's non-fungible tokens, right? So it means that a token that is not fungible, basically, right? So to understand this, to say what are tokens, right? Tokens are any assets that are digitally transferable between two people, right? So any assets that you can transfer on the blockchain between two people is called a token, right? Tokens are issued on the blockchain. Most of them on the Ethereum blockchain, but of course you have other blockchains like Solana that are Polygon that also support NFTs now, but a larger percentage of NFT interactions still happen on the Ethereum blockchain. But basically, any digital asset that you can move around, any asset you can move around on the blockchain, right, is called a token, right? Now, fungibility just simply means that an asset that is interchangeable and essentially indistinguishable from one another. So, for example, 100 naira is always going to be 100 naira, right? If you have 100 naira and I also have 100 naira, and I give you my 100 naira and I collect your own 100 naira, for instance, we both still have 100 naira. It doesn't matter whose 100 naira is with who, right? So that's a fungible thing. We can exchange the 100 naira. In fact, I can give you what 250 nairas and still collect your 100 naira, right? We still both have 100 naira, so it's interchangeable. It's not unique. You can switch it out, right? So that's what fungible means. So if something is non-fungible, that would mean that you can't interchange it, right? It would mean that it's unique, right? And that basically is what NFTs are. And NFTs are a type of digital token or assets. A common analogy would be like a digital painting, right? So a painting that you got from a Mona Lisa painting, right? A Mona Lisa painting that you got from or a Picasso painting, right? It's not the same thing as the Van Gogh painting. Those are two different paintings, different from each other, have different values. They don't even look alike. They have different work, right? So you can't switch them for one another. It's not the same thing, right? So that's what an NFT is. So think of NFTs as a digital painting, right? Whenever you buy an NFT, you are basically buying the rights to that specific asset, right? So non-fungible means that it can be changed whenever it is created, and it must be distinguishable from something else. So that's the basics, right? But when it comes down to the technical, which is why I said this might be the technicalities of it because you guys are computer science students and maybe you need to understand the basic part of it as well, right? So when it comes to the technical aspect of it, what are NFTs? What really happens is this, right? From a developer standpoint, from the technicality standpoint, from the operational standpoint, how it actually works at the back end of things, right? Which is something you guys, it's something you guys are familiar with. NFTs are actually just a piece of data, right? When someone sends you MBTC or they send an image across different chains, they are basically just sending data from one point to another, right? So NFTs are actually just a piece of data that is owned by an address, right? NFTs are just a piece of data that is owned by an address. Now, whoever has the password to that address, right, they are the ones that own that piece of data. Whoever has the password to the address, right? So NFTs, just to be clear, right, because just to make this less technical than it is, NFTs are actually just data, information that is being transferred from one person to the other, right? So it's owned by an address, right? And whoever owns the password to that address, they own that piece of data. So imagine that, let's imagine your address is your house, right? And then you are keeping a book in your house, right? Whoever owns the key to your house pretty much has access to the book you put in the house, right? And then, which means they could potentially own that piece of data. But of course, in blockchain itself, potentially, it assumes that they do, right? So that's basically what happens, right? So NFTs are just a piece of data that is owned by an address, and whoever has the password to that address, they own that piece of data. Now, that data can be bought or sold to different addresses, right? Same thing, you can sell the book in your house, right, which is your address, to another house, right, for them to be using in that house, right? So NFTs, and that data can be bought, right, or sold to different addresses, and that data is verified, or it can be verified because it's on the blockchain, right? So that's basically the technicalities of how an NFT functions in the backend. And just to go a bit further, so let's give an example, right? So the image you guys see on my screen here was created by Bipu. Bipu is an NFT artist, and this is one of the most expensive NFTs that have ever been sold. Right? This image alone was sold for $69 million. Right? Now, this NFT is essentially just a small URL that is owned by an address. Like I said, we're back to the technical stuff, right? Because this image right here, when you're buying an NFT, right? Whoever bought this image for $69 million, the only thing they actually bought, right, is a tiny piece of data. Like I said before, it's just data, right? It's owned by an address. So the creator of this image owned as an address. They created this picture, and now someone buys that data, the data of this picture from that person. So the data points to a server somewhere that usually owns that image. So technically, whoever owns that server can change the image. So once you actually own, when you buy an NFT, is a data that points to a server that has the image that you bought. Right. So whoever bought this image only has a link that they can give to anybody, or they can show to anybody to say that I bought this image. You don't actually have the image, right? You just have an access point. They have a key that gives them access to this image, but they don't own the image. They don't own the server, right? So, and that also means that whoever owns the server where the image is actually stored on can change the image, just on the technical part here, right? Because the image itself is not on the blockchain. Just so that the image itself is not on the blockchain. The image is on the server somewhere, right? So, just to get that technicality out of the way, and there are characteristics of NFTs, right? A lot of characteristics, but this is just a few of them. We've got uniqueness, right? And uniqueness is basically the value of the NFTs, right? The value of the NFTs comes from their uniqueness. Non-fungibility basically implies that you could only have one type of NFTs, right? Without any other alternative. That's what the uniqueness means, right? We've also got authenticity. Because an NFT is on the blockchain, it is easier to find out details regarding the history of the NFT. Who has bought the NFTs, how much they bought the NFTs for, who currently owns the original NFT. So it's easy to authenticate to say, yes, this is the address that got these NFTs, and this is your own address. So of course they merge That makes you a valid owner of the NFT, right? Then we've got rarity, and rarity is actually one of the basic tenets that drive the value of NFTs. Creators determine how much NFTs they want to raise, which means that a creator, someone that's creating an NFT, can basically decide they want to create five of those, which means that they can ensure the scarcity of that item. Right? The scarcity of NFTs, of course, depends considerably on the perception of the NFT creator. So,